Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very pleasant day I bid to all. My name is Saizawati binti Kamar Zaman, and today I will present a study on readiness in facing Industrial Revolution 4.0 as known as IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students. I am from Civil Engineering Department of Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah Shah Alam Selangor. As shown on your screen, today we will go through introduction, problem statement, research objective, literature review, methodology, result and discussion, and of course, conclusion and suggestion for this study. According to Ministry of International Trade and Industry, Malaysia is a commercial country. Thus, it is crucial for Malaysia as a trading country to continually seek in widening the market for the products that the nation produces. Though Malaysia is rich in natural resources, it is the industrial sector that really has played a vital role in making Malaysia a major player in the global market chain other than from progressively transforming the nation into an industrialized country. For the past few decades in Malaysia, we can see that the industrial sector has undergone rapid transformation from large-scale production by using intensive labor power in production lines to the use of robotics in improving performance. Nowadays, the next step of development in Malaysia is referred to Fourth Industrial Revolution or Industry 4.0 as the manufacturing industry is constantly evolving with more automation infusion. Today, industrial development is powered by global competition and the need for accelerated adaptation of development to ever-changing consumer is in demand. These criteria can only be fulfilled with the great discoveries of artificial intelligence, robotics, big data, and the Internet of Things or IoT, digital twin, cloud computing, integration of systems, cybersecurity, and of course, augmented reality. However, according to Sunny, facts and figures indicate that the number of unemployed graduates in Malaysia is really concerning, as employers perceive recent graduates as liabilities that need to be provided with further preparation before they can work efficiently with their job. Moreover, fresh graduates are expected to be well-trained and knowledgeable to cope with the digital industry, and educators are expected to make themselves relevant in accordance with IR 4.0. Thereby, this study was conducted in order to determine the student level of knowledge on IR 4.0 and readiness in facing IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students. Subsequently, on the current status of this ongoing research project, the paper will explore new research possibilities and solutions for IR 4.0 among students in Malaysia. Moving on to the literature review of this study. According to the editors of Encyclopedia Britannica, Industrial Revolution is the phase of moving from an agricultural and handicraft economy to an economy driven by industry and machine manufacturing. This phase started in Britain in the 18th century and grew to other parts of the world. The term Industrial Revolution was pioneered by the English economic historian Anna Toynbee to describe the economic growth of Britain. According to Melinda, Faiza, and Naim, the first Industrial Revolution occurred with the invention of steam and water power, allowing the mechanization of manufacturing methods, whereas the second Industrial Revolution was powered by electrical power and mass production techniques. Computer technology and robotics becomes of the part of the Industrial Revolution, and of course, the Fourth Industrial Revolution is bursting behind a variety of developments that obscure the difference between physical, digital, and biological spaces. Melinda, Faiza, and Naim also stated in their study that Industry 4.0 focused on new technologies since the last decades to a whole new phase with the aid of interconnectivity across the Internet of Things, access to real-time data, and the introduction of cyber-physical network which has introduced a more detailed, interlinked, and proactive approach to production. Furthermore, Industry 4.0 is changing the global nature of industrial competition, reducing the perceived economic advantage of low-cost areas that rely on migrant workers. The nation and industrial companies who lead the market to adopt 4.0 technologies and process will triumph over foreign competitors. This competitiveness relies on the capacity to transform by reacting to developments in the industry and technological innovation. Besides that, transformation of the industrial sector by Industry 4.0 is also in accordance with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals or SDG, in particular in favor of Goal 9 and Goal 12. Despite the fact that IR 4.0 will improve the strategy of all industries in the handling of manual labor and job classes, as well as the new skills of fresh graduates, Chui Menika and Mirabedi has stated that the evolution in technology in the modern sector has affected many fields due to the trend in IR 4.0 that utilize intelligent systems to replace manual labor done by people with smart machines, which has contributed to huge changes in the working environment. Also, the recent unemployment crisis that has been addressed is mainly related to the notion of IR 4.0 skills among higher education institution graduates lead to unemployment. However, Malaysian Employer Federation reported that even though IR 4.0 boosts the demand for highly skilled applicants in diverse sectors, many issues have been arises pertaining to graduate work readiness in Malaysia, inferring the inability of graduates to utilize the skills acquired at the university in order to tackle their desired careers. According to Thelma Pahlavi Sharif Internal, one of the problems that emerge are polemics of graduate weakness, such as lack of skills, inability to communicate in English, and inexperienced graduate for fulfilling job demand in IR 4.0 due to inadequacy of the exposure to industrial training. The situation is increasingly worrying as recent media have indicated that more employees will be laid off due to economic problems other than implementation of innovative tech. By identifying the goals and objectives of this report and reviewing previous related research, this observational and descriptive study was carried out to determine the students' level of knowledge on IR 4.0 and to identify the students' level of readiness in facing the challenges of IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students. Following the comprehensive literature review, a standardized questionnaire was developed and questions were adapted from Muhammad and Ismailwan Hassan Ahmad Affal in their study, which were updated according to the requirements of previously published studies, and questions were added which are deemed applicable to the research. The questionnaire consisted of two main sections, asking about respondent demography, and Section B was comprised of two parts, knowledge and student readiness towards IR 4.0 respectively. The questionnaire rated their opinions on the subject using a 4-point Likert scale and no neutral point used in this questionnaire to prevent biased answer. Furthermore, the subject of this study were 156 students of Diploma in Civil Engineering and Diploma in Building Services from Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah Alam. Afterwards, data will be analyzed descriptively using IBM Statistical Package for the Social Sciences SPSS version 25.0, which had been released in 2017, and tables was constructed using Microsoft Excel 2016. Also, the result for knowledge of IR 4.0 and student readiness toward 4.0 will be presented as mean based on the table shown according to Ridwan. Hence, let's move the result and discussion. As shown on your screen, the table is the mean score of the student knowledge of IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students based on the questionnaire. The average mean score is 3.08 indicating that Polytechnic students have a high level of knowledge on IR 4.0. However, contrast to the knowledge of IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students, to summarize, the level of student readiness in facing IR 4.0 amongst Polytechnic students is only at moderate level because based on the questionnaire and the table shown on your screen, we can see that the average mean score calculated was only 2.03, which are at moderate level. Thus, the objective of this study, we can conclude that to determine the level of readiness in facing IR 4.0 and level of knowledge on IR 4.0 among Polytechnic students has been achieved. All in all, in conclusion, the overall findings show that the level of student readiness in facing IR 4.0 showed that the student had a relatively high knowledge level, but only moderate level of readiness on the Industrial Revolution as known as IR 4.0. The results are actually similar with the findings of Elias and Ledin, where they identify the level of student readiness in facing IR 4.0 is at moderate level. This is maybe due to the probability that students may not be used to IR 4.0 technology during the teaching and learning session in the classroom or in daily life. Hence, education system must restructure their curriculum by integrating IR 4.0 elements such as big data analysis, cloud technology, and Internet of Things into their curriculum, as this strategy is seen as attempt by educational institutions to create more new graduates who are familiar with IR 4.0. Hence, we suggested to the Department of Polytechnics and Community College Education, JPPKK, to create and organize more industrial training that practice IR 4.0 working environment and conference regarding IR 4.0 to prepare Polytechnic students in facing IR 4.0 challenges and mainly to overcome the graduate work readiness issues in Malaysia in order to produce more competent fresh graduates that meet IR 4.0 job requirement. And as such, we suggested that all entities must involve, including educators, need to be prepared to empower themselves with the right skills and competency in contemplation of facing IR 4.0. Before we end our presentation, we would like to thank the Department of Polytechnic and Community College Education, JPPKK, who give utmost cooperation and their consent to proceed with this study. Also, the assistance provided by Polytechnic Sultan Salahuddin Abdul Aziz Shah, PSA in data collection is thankfully acknowledged, and special thanks also go to PSA Department of Civil Engineering students for their boundless participation in this paper. With that, I thank you.